Good afternoon, everyone. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, October the 1st, 2019. Today we're going to go through the big 7 cryptocurrencies on BitMEX. Then we're going to talk about why Bitcoin dominance is such a threat to altcoin season right now. And we're going to end with some empirical, objective evidence that is showing us this is shaping up right now. So in this episode, we will go through the relative strength index, the on-balance volume, the MACD indicators, and the Ichimoku cloud for the coins that we are reviewing. And I am working at getting the chat box to actually work on this stream. And I don't even see it on this. So bear with me a second while I try to add this browser source, the chat box here, and get it to work. I can't make heads or tails of it, so if you have any experience with Streamlabs getting that to work, let me know. Let me go into the disclaimer now. That might be a little loud. This isn't trading advice, just market observation. All right, very good. Now, before we jump in, I do want to say hip hip hooray.
Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray! Hip hip! Hooray!
Thank you very much to the patron sponsors who make this stream possible. The patron sponsorship is actually closed now until October 28th. So we'll get that up and going again, and we'll open up some new spots for that at the end of October. And that chat is not working along the side. The chat here is working for YouTube, but it should be playing and displaying in the live stream at the same time. Along the side there, just above the clock, there's a nice space in the field there. The live stream is supposed to update there. And I've had it work intermittently without me changing anything. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So it's become a real frustration for me. Now, anyway, we're looking at Bitcoin dominance right now. Actually, none of this stuff is working without me having to force it to refresh and start again. Good to have a few people along, so let me know where in the world you are from. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You guys are all altcoin aficionados. You're all sweating out the altcoin winter with me as things have been going down and down. We've had all these bottom formations, and yet, as one of the guys in our Discord chat said here today, he's kind of worried that we haven't had that actual big capitulation, straight down move in cryptos yet. And I kind of agree with him. So in this episode, we're going to take a look at what's going on here in Bitcoin dominance. And we can see that it is making a potential head and shoulders formation. However, it's inside this upward channel. And the last time it came off this point in the upward channel, that is, if this was a coin going up, this is like, this is a nitro spot for me. This is where it comes into this channel, and this is where you light the rockets up because you are already proven correct. It's going along with the trend. And so if it starts to break up above these levels, the alts are going to get crushed. This will be the measure of the alts getting crushed. So I'll be watching the alts to see if we're coming back down to break the old 1, 2, 3 formations and how serious it is, because some of the alts are really taking punishment and some of them are doing pretty good. So we'll jump in and take a look at those. Now, I didn't take a look at the price of Link yet, smoking altcoins, but I'll check that at the end, more to the end of the stream. Hello from Denmark. Good to have you along. And from Bulgaria, hello, Todor, Stave. And actually, one of the guys whose name I could not pronounce properly yesterday, he left his name pronunciation underneath the last live stream. I'm going to have to read it and practice it and have it on a little card here so that I can get it right when he's here and says hello. I have a great time trying to pronounce the foreign words. Watching from Italy, great to have you along. Viral Code Media, let's get some viral watching on these videos here. Now I'm going to go into ADA, but first of all, I've got Dogecoin pulled up in the first chart that I want to use. So my let's go to Binance ADA longer term chart. Hey, Met Odi, good to have you along. And Eric, good to have you here again. Now, we're looking at altcoins potentially pulling back or moving up. And so our indicators are supposed to give us that inside view. First of all, we're looking for the 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. We have a double bottom. It came up and gave us a little bit of a breakout, but it's pulled back. And now we're kind of watching to see what is it going to do. And my thinking is that Bitcoin dominance is going to rise up, and it could give us a really serious, nasty knock to the altcoins. But at the same time, I'm going to be watching for our divergences to solidify if we are coming down to these areas. For me, this is still an area to watch for a bottom formation. And Discord is driving me crazy. Good stuff going on. So let's continue quickly through these. Bitcoin Cash is in the same state as yesterday. That's as much time as I spend trading that. If I'm looking for a long formation in that, there's nothing doing in here. And if I go out to a longer term formation, maybe there's a sell signal, but I'm just going to stay away from this one until it takes a long time to mature and build a different formation. So EOS is a more favorable bottom formation setting up here, but it's going to have to mature and get it back above these levels. And if it does, when it does rather, I believe, then we're going to see a very nice bottom formation set up here. It's going to give us a very nice place to build our bottom off of. But nothing setting up there yet. If I go on to Ethereum price, I'm looking at it in the 1-day view, and for me, it looks like it's pulling back. We have a cross to the positive though, and that'll probably stay cross to the positive. When I zoom into the 12-hour time frame, this looks like a double top and that it should be pulling back from here. And I expect that we'll see that when we get into our indicators. Let's go on to Litecoin. I want to go through them all in a sort of a bigger term view first of all. So it's low in this 1, 2, 3 bottom, not really shaping up and giving us the pressure for going higher right now, for sure. And if Bitcoin dominance starts to go higher, this has no place to go. Like this is at historical levels already. And if it is to break down below these levels, there's nothing. Right? There's like, we've got this major drop in volume going on as it's pulling back to these levels. We had the major drop in volume here, and then it took off. So we'll have to see what's going on. But if it breaks below these levels, it's pretty not good. And I want to track that if it's happening. We'll zoom into this chart and get an idea of what's going on in this short-term zone with our indicators here shortly. First, I want to zoom back out and go through TRX to get an idea of where this is compared to the others. This has taken a lot more of a beating this last while. Since this top all the way down, percentage-wise, it's retraced more deeply than the other coins. And so I'm thinking that it's probably going to hold its bottom better than some of the others that haven't retraced as deeply. And we'll see how that goes because it held pretty good here. But as soon as it's breaking these exponential moving averages on the shorter time frame, it's time to get out. It's time to step aside and not have a position in these. If we go into Ripple, it's doing something similar to Ethereum. So now we can quickly go back into our indicators and open this up and go through to see in the closer time frame, what is this going to do, and see if we are going to get some pullbacks to these areas. So Adrian says that Litecoin BTC looks like a pretty nice setup for a Gartley crab pattern. Whew. I would have no clue of the Gartley crab pattern. There are unnumbered patterns that you can trade. The one I'm focusing on is the 1, 2, 3. Simple, takes a while, and it's definitive when it goes. The rest of it is a lot of sitting. And so what I'm trying to decipher here with this live stream and through the repetitious following of it is to determine if this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation can have some additional details revealed by looking at the 4 indicator set that we're looking at. So as we're coming down to this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation, setting up its potential, it could go sideways. I'm just observing that the RSI is doing what it's doing here. So as we're zooming in now, getting to the point of this RSI to see what is it doing. If we are going higher, and it's right at a central point that it's not giving us clear indication here. The only thing it can give us for indication is if it starts to change one direction or another out of these ranges. And now I'll step back, and I expect that should it be breaking below these ranges, there is a short position to take below this because we have the 1, 2, 3 top formation and you could ease into it. I'm not going short because we're at these historical levels. Instead, I am just sitting aside and watching and observing these indicators as this all sets up until it gives me the formation that I want. And it has to come down and give me a 1, 2, 3. I can't trade a 1, 2, 3 this way as easily until it gives me more. And as we're seeing this divergence as it sets up, then I can start to plan out my trade, because then we're really setting up for something great across really fantastic chart levels. So let's watch to see if this shapes up and that our RSI corresponds to that over the next while. So this is the ascending wedge triangle that I am waiting for the chart to either build, or if the RSI is breaking below these levels, it's showing me that it's not building and it's coming down and I need to wait longer. And if Bitcoin dominance does go, it's good that I don't have a position yet, because it's probably going to be going down on that big capitulation low. Thank you there, Smoking Altcoins. Enter the code MINNO to save 20% off our Binance alerts, and we'll talk a bit about those near the end. Let's go through the indicators here. I could talk on this ad nauseum. So here we are looking at some pretty good buying going on, but still need more to juice this up. If we go into the on balance volume, the MACD indicator, good. This is looking good that we have higher lows here, higher lows, and then this is crossed negative. So that puts a big wet blanket on any bull plans here. All right, just checking the live stream there again to be sure. What a pain in the ass. Yeah, the chat is not working on the chat. Give it to me. It is not coming up to the website properly. Here we are looking at this crossover. It is crossed to the negative still on the 12-hour time frame. So if I zoom into the 4-hour time frame, it's crossing negative. It's not giving us any juice here. This really has to cross to the positive and break above these levels. So there's a whole bunch of sitting. Same pretty much we said yesterday as we were going sideways like this. The 1 hour was doing this and that. It was nothing definitive, nothing strong. And even here, this has to cross to the positive and go up. So we're not seeing anything juicy here today. I'm going to go into ADA, the 1 year view for the Ichimoku. It's below the cloud for the 12-hour time frame. It's hanging below the cloud for the 4-hour time frame. It's below the cloud for the 1-hour time frame. So there's nothing bullish in this right now. We're seeing a negative cross, a bearish cross, a bearish cross, a bearish underneath. So this is all not looking like it's going to be breaking higher. And let me clear that off now. And I think we're going to see much the same story throughout all of the alts. And as we go through from ADA and we get this to load up, as we go through BCH, of course, it looks bearish to me. It looks like we've got a bit of a bounce here, but it's got a whole bunch of structure to build before it can turn into something good. EOS is looking like Bitcoin Cash, except that it didn't make new lows. So that it's staying below these levels. Let's go take a look at Bitcoin, at EOS on balance volume. Too many acronyms. This is the MACD indicator. It is crossing to the positive on this time frame. Much better than ADA was, except that it's crossing negative on the 4-hour time frame and dumping negative on the 1-hour time frame. So I don't expect that 12-hour to hold. Then on the 15-minute time frame, it seems to be caught itself a little bit here. Again, indecisive, no action to be taken here. Nothing at all until it builds one way or the other. And I wouldn't go short on this. It's too low to be expecting to sell low and sell low, buy low and sell lower. I'm waiting for this to build the stages to go around the other way. And if we go into EOS on the Ichimoku cloud, it is underneath on the 12-hour, looking pretty terrible on the 4-hour, just hanging out. A little bit of positive regard there. 1-hour time frame. Not looking like any hell at all. Nothing decisive. Even though it broke out here and it was giving us all the positive setup, it didn't last long before it's coming back below this level. And this kind of looks like a bear flag, where it's bouncing, does the bear flag, and then crashes below this strongly. So the short-term MACD indicator is negative. Overall is negative. It's looking like a head and shoulders formation here. So breaks below those levels are not so good. Let's clear that off. Go to a longer time frame, and I want to check out Ethereum. And we'll check out GVT to see the 1, 2, 3 formation in that. There is a lot of really great potential setups right now. And I zoomed it out too much. Here we are looking at Ethereum. When you're looking at any of the potential 1, 2, 3 top formations, right, or 1, 2, 3 bottom formations right now, if they are showing exhaustion candles at the top of these near to breakout formations, then pay more attention to the top formation that's building and the potential for it to be breaking lower. So that the RSI has broken these levels is pretty key. That it's broken these levels, broken these levels, broken these levels. Well, I expect to see this coming down further from here. Let's go see what the MACD indicator says. On the 12-hour time frame. Okay, it does still give us that negative divergence that I didn't point out on the RSI. Oh, this is slow. So here's the negative divergence in the RSI, setting up along with this. And then when we go to the, on this MACD indicator, we can see the same type of divergence, not setting up nice here at all. Now let's go into Ethereum for the Ichimoku cloud and go out to the longer term time frame. So it's still looking good here on this time frame. It broke out higher and it would stay higher, and it could be a buy signal in an uptrend if it bounces off of this and goes higher. As I zoom in now on the 4-hour time frame, there's a double top. It's still looking bullish in that this has not crossed negative yet. So that's not bad. That's important to see that it hasn't crossed negative yet, because during this top formation, we saw the 1, 2, 3. As this 1, 2, 3 was breaking, this was crossing negative. So if this turns into a 1, 2, 3, then we have a tiny little head and shoulders here, a tiny little head and shoulders here, and a double top here. Breaks below these levels would definitely be a sell signal. And since this made such a good little run up here percentage-wise, it could actually be a bit of profit in this if you were to short it. There is potential for it to come down to the 50% level. For my own just general guesstimations, it already did from these top formation. It made it down to the 50% level and then bounced right back up. So coming back to those levels would make sense technically. So there is an opportunity for a short if you are that kind of short-term trader for Ethereum. And it doesn't seem like that for the rest of them to me, because they didn't make such a move up that they don't have as much room to make the move down. Now, when we go on to Litecoin, look at the relative strength index, just like fading right off. Big time, quite a bit worse than the Ethereum. Now, if I zoom in on time frames, trying to see something look positive here. There is a bit of a positive divergence, but it's really got this whole structure to build. Like we're just going to see the same thing when we're looking at Litecoin. It's got work to do. Even though I thought it was going to be taking off and doing much better, it is building a nice formation, but that isn't looking good on the 12-hour time frame. If we go into the 4-hour time frame, it is just crossing negative from this move here. So that's another bearish indication. This crossed negative earlier as we're coming up to this top, and we have this divergence right here. All of it's looking negative until that crosses positive and gives us some juice. It's got to cross positive and give us some juice, and then we'll see the 4-hour time frame also crossing positive. But if this continues to cross more negative and flare wide, then down further we're going. And I'm not playing in the short signals on this one. There doesn't seem to be as much range as we saw from, say, this top formation. As we were talking about it on the 19th, there's a video to go back and watch and see what was the prognosis as this was all setting up. Because there is the time to have gone short and to pick up some nice quick profits on this move as it's correcting from the initial move up. I will go back and rewatch that one. That's my education. Litecoin long-term time frame. It's under the cloud. It's under the cloud. It's under the cloud. A little under the weather, even right to the 15-minute time frame. So nothing good there. And looking at TRX, it's also broken this RSI that we were looking at yesterday, saying, oh, check it out. Oh, we must have been in this range. And as this was breaking higher, we're saying, yes, this is a buy-in signal. Even if it is a buy-in signal, you've got to use your risk control rules and get your stop above your entry as quickly as you can, because the markets do a lot of sideways action. And if you're not getting a good clean entry, step aside. There'll be another chance for another clean entry. The trick for me is to start off with a small enough position that when it's not proving me correct, I can close the position without sweating the losses. If I get too big of a position, then I want to hold it as it's going past here so that I don't take a loss. I want it to come back up. And so I'm trading with hopium rather than risk control. So the smaller the positions at the beginning, the better. There will be time to add on to it. So that's my theme most of the time here. TRX. So this looks weaker to me. And if we go into TRX in the MACD, we do have another divergence to the negative here. So we've got a few of them. That gives me the feel that this Bitcoin dominance is more serious because of all of the confluence of the number of coins that we're seeing give us this same indicator, the same divergence across these tops. It feels like they're all pulling back, which means that Bitcoin dominance is going to be coming up at least this much. And that will take all of these alts at least back to these double bottoms here. At least back to these ranges. And then we'll see what our divergences are telling us. So we're looking at the 12-hour time frame. I'm going to zoom into the 4-hour time frame, and we've got a more of a negative cross. So this is definitely a sell setup here that we've got going on now. Even though yesterday it was turning out that if this expanded wide, it was looking bullish. We had the crosses to the positive, crosses to the positive. Now it has flipped. We've got crosses to the negative, a double top, exhaustion wicks, a very clear level that if it goes down below those levels, it's not so good. And I'll bet you if I zoom into the 1 hour view, not yet. I was gonna say that the 1 hour exponential moving average would have crossed to the negative. And should that happen, let me grab a straight edge here, straighter than I can draw. Should that happen, we are breaking below top formations. No way to know, of course, how deep the top will pull back, but I always use the rule of thumb that we look for the 50% level of the most recent move. So it came back deeper than the 50% level and is recovered back up. It's making a potential great big ascending wedge triangle. So I want this to manifest and stay inside this range. That would be good. Let's go to TRX in the Ichimoku cloud. We started out looking at it. It is above the cloud for the 12-hour and not yet for the 1 day. So this is interesting because most of the others are below the cloud on the 12-hour and the 4-hour. So this is holding its own here. Holding its own, and so long as it stays above the cloud here, that's good. But again, it's that massive ascending wedge triangle that I want to see build up here. And it's okay if it takes a little bit longer to go, because I want to get in at the right time. And zoom in one more. The 1 hour time frame, okay, nothing definitive here. It's a lot more fighting. It could go this deeper sideways and building. So overall, just sort of hanging out right now. So here is Bitcoin over the 4-hour time frame and its pullback. And this is what's happened to Litecoin from June to July. Here we had a top, a lower top. In Litecoin, we had a top and a lower top. And it really bled off quite a bit compared to Bitcoin. Now Bitcoin's made this stabilization. We can see that much the same thing here in June. In July, it didn't come up as much. It really suffered back further sooner than Litecoin did. And then it's pulled back and it's recovered sooner than Litecoin has. Now, in Stellar, or Ripple rather, it did much the same as Ethereum did. Didn't make as big of double tops as Litecoin and made them a little earlier. No, this just doesn't show as much data. Okay. So this is really pulled back. I like this formation a lot better, and yet I'm still feeling all of these giving me that top formation feeling that it's just going to pull back. It's just the size of these bottom formations needs to have more solidity underneath it, more of a solid bottom underneath it to build from. So all of these feel like they are going to come back to these kind of levels and build more structure before turning around. Either that or they are going to go on a big capitulation sharp breakdown as Bitcoin dominance. If I zoom this all the way back out to the weekly view, is Bitcoin dominance could make a quick run up like this, and this would crush all of the alts severely. I'm not expecting it. I'm expecting that Bitcoin is going to give us a run down, not a run up. Good evening from the UK. Very good. Now we've got a few coin requests. I'll go and take a look at them. I think we looked at Link. Where is that one? Link. Let's take a look at smoking altcoins. We did take a look at Link, and I think I was bearish on it. And I was wrong. Look at that. Took off. So now that it's taken off, of course, if I was to have gotten long on this, I would want my stop above it. For my own part, I'm holding some profit in Link because I got in December of 2019 in one of these places in here. As it made the 1, 2, 3 bottom and it consolidated, there was a beautiful place to get in there. And I ran it all the way up. I probably sold some here, and I'm still holding some of the profit that I can just sit on. So I'm watching it and I'm kind of impartial to it, but I'm still feeling like this is going to be pulling back. I think this is, it could continue, certainly, but it feels like to me it's going to pull back. Just the RSI doesn't seem like it's supporting that yet. There is a good crossover here, but there's lots of room for it to pull back. It's just at such important levels, it seems like there's going to be more kickback to it. But if there isn't and it jumps above those levels, it's going to be good. Let's go and see what the other indicators are saying about Link here. So if I scroll down and go to Link, HIJK. Yeah, looks like it's going to doing sort of a little blow off, a little bit of a blow off top, and that it could have a sharp pullback. And I'm completely speculating. The 1 day MACD is very positive. So as this came down, this was a very nice divergence and setup there. Wow, that's really beautiful, actually. And that's on the 1 day view. We don't have anything like that setting up right now that jumps out at me as nicely as this. And then if we go into the 12-hour, first of all. So the 12-hour has crossed to the positive as the same time as the day. So we had a cross to the positive and a cross to the positive off of these diverging bottoms. Very, very nice. But the 1, 2, 3 formation didn't give us a signal until this breakout. Now, if this keeps spreading further bullish, we're going to continue going up. But I'd be watching for this. Let's zoom into the 4-hour time frame. This is looking good, crossing positive and flaring to the positive right now as it's taking off. This has to cross to the negative and break these levels for this to start descending. And I don't know how fast that kind of stuff will happen, but if there's something goes on that I can catch and do a video on, I'll record it. And so this still looks pretty good. As we're coming up out of this, it crossed to the positive and is flaring positive. Nice, nice, nice. All looking good. So there's no big reversal thing jumping out at me. There's a bit of a divergence across this top. I think that I was looking at the other day, that there was a divergence here and a divergence in the relative strength index that's similar, but clearly not definitive. As soon as that crossed over, off this went out of that ascending wedge triangle. So let's pay attention to how this sets up and where the crossover is the confirmation of the breakout of the ascending wedge triangle. We are coming into ascending wedge triangle season all the way along. So this is another nitro point, the ascending wedge triangle. This is one of them. The second one, of course, is after the blow off top and it pulls back to a 50% level where we have support and resistance from the past. When it makes one of those 1, 2, 3s, then we can give ourselves that parallel channel. And that is a nitro moment right in here. So there are two different flavors of nitro that we can be playing with. We have the ascending wedge nitro and we have the reversal 1, 2, 3 in the trend. That is the second nitro spot. Boom. So good to take a look at Link. GVT is the next one we got here. Let's go over GVT, ABCG. Oh yeah. So in the longer term view, always start off here. I see that the MACD is crossed to the positive. If we go into the 12-hour time frame, it is positive, kind of fighting around here. So it's got to cross positive and flare for this to work out. And if you see how this bottom formation shaped up last time, that looked like a massive divergence setting up as this was building. And then this crossed and everything just petered out. Even as it's going down, we have this coming up. Now let's zoom in. The 4-hour time frame, crossed to the positive, cross to the positive, cross to the positive, cross to the positive, ascending wedge triangle. Very, very good. All we have to do is watch that this does not cross negative as this is breaking out above this level, because we do have a lot of exhaustion wicks there, but I like it. This is really looking strong. I like all these indicators. I got to go and see what this says in the Ichimoku cloud. If I get rid of my favorites, go down to G, A, B, C, D, G, VT. Long-term view. Oh, nice. 12-hour, really nicely above the cloud. Nice call to point this one out. Positive, positive, breaking above this ascending wedge triangle. Whoa, wicked. Adrian, thanks for bringing that up. That's phenomenal. Everybody give Adrian a high five in the chat, because he is giving you at least paper trading profits here by watching this formation and getting confirmation right now. So tomorrow or the next day or the day after that, when we log into the stream, maybe we'll come back and check GVT, and all of us are going to have at least paper profits to give high fives to Adrian for bringing this one up. Woo. Sweet. I love it. That's what it's here. That's why we're here for all together, is to bring these things up so that all of us can benefit. If you benefit from this and you make money, it doesn't limit how much money I can make. So let's do it. Now, if you want some instruction, well, then the good servant is worth their hire. The courses that I put together have taken years of study and practice, and they are worth it. So here we are with a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation that has an extra flare in it that for me is giving me the greedy guy in me wants to say that that is a pre-pump candle of big institutions that understand what Bancor Network token is. It is a different way of exchanging from one token to another. So you can quickly flip back and forth without having to check prices. And I think it may have a use because they are tied to the overall prices of things, and it just makes it easy to flip between tokens, I understand. But because it is an interoperative coin, I believe that over time it's going to be good. Banker Network token. And I like that formation on the 12-hour time frame. If we zoom in to the 4-hour time frame, it's not as strong as what we just saw, but because it has this candle here, I kind of want to get ready with the popcorn trading strategy. In fact, this is popcorn season. It's time to get ready with all of your trades in the popcorn trading strategy. Nice to see that bull in the top left corner. Yeah, I'll put a different avatar up there every day, something different. Okay, chat box, you're really pissing me off. Let me refresh you again, and you're still not coming up. Quite a pain in the keister. What is the deal? Save settings. Launch. Even when I do the test launch widget, it won't come up through their system. I don't get it. Piss me off. Let me go back to the other chat so I can read what's going on. So let me go. Hello, Philippe. Good to have you here. Smoking altcoins. Be sure to come and join us on Discord. Yes, indeed. Thank you for sharing the link. Nice to see the bull. Can I please look at Stratus and Stem? Okay, this is another benefit of this stream for me, is I would never have looked at Stem because I can't find it. What is... I'll look at Strat, but maybe you typed Stem wrong? Steam? Steam has pretty much been steamrolled flat. Like, there's nothing more you can squeeze out of this. This is the 7th press of these poor olives trying to squeeze one more drop of dry, bitter, acidic olive oil out of it. But at the same time, it's making a 1, 2, 3 bottom formation. And I have some Steam coin that has gone down in value by insane amounts. No matter wherever you got into this, you're down by 10 times in value. For a lot of the earlier adopters, you're down 95% from its beginning. And I don't see a lot of big future for Steem because it is so automated, and the whole system as a way to make money, right? If you're an author and you're writing and you're posting on Steem, you're supposed to make money from your posts. And all of that can be automated with bots, and the bots run the crap out of it, and they squeeze every bit of money out of the system, and it doesn't really fairly generate the economy inside the system. It just bleeds from it. So anything that can be gamified and botified, I don't think it can work. And the same as game credits token, because all games can be botified, and then people are just botting the game to bleed money out of it that they're selling, and that just continually bleeds the economy out. It's not a real economy, not an economy of value. So Steem, I don't have a big long-term future for it in my own mind, although I do publish there a little bit. I'll just wait and see. And if it breaks above these levels and starts to change direction, my song will change. And so long as it's making a trend that gives us a parallel channel, I'll watch for the nitro moment, maybe to put on a larger position. But at the same time, every time it's making any kind of channel, I'm going to be watching for those top formations so that I can be taking off at least part of my profit and save my initial and get my initial money back out of it. And then if my next, any of the profit money turns out to go somewhere, good. But if it comes back and melts back into nothing, at least I kept my initial investment. And that's what I want to do. I want to put my money in and risk that it's going to go up somewhere, and then protect my initial investment first and foremost. Like Warren Buffett says, his 2 rules for trading. Rule number 1 is don't lose money. Rule number 2 is don't forget rule number 1. Our job as traders is to protect our assets and to be sure that we don't lose money, to minimize our losses. It is not our job to make money. And as soon as you get that wrong, as soon as you get that backwards and you think it's your job to make money, then you're looking at how much you can possibly take out of the market, and you're blindsided by how much you could lose in the market. So plan for the losses and then put your stops immediately above it. Take your profit when those exponential moving averages cross over. Steem looks nasty. Yeah, indeed. Now, Strat I didn't look at. Let me go and take a look at Strat. And it could be that Steem and Storage and SNT and probably Strat, that could be like the time for them, right? This is the time of the century. This is the time of their life. This is the absolute buy low, sell high moment. And it could be, but it's got to turn around and show me the other direction. And it hasn't done that except for one little blip here. It made a bottom formation after this big skewer, and I wasn't going to touch it. And then it did this little run up here, and I'm going, oh, wow, that's nice. But then it just turned into nothing all the way along. So it grabbed a whole bunch of people who probably are bag holders now because of all of the sideways action. So this trading system that we're studying here is trying to filter this crap out so that we are not playing in these markets at all. There's nothing to do here. It's got lower lows. The moving average hasn't crossed over on whatever time frame. So we're getting closer. Then the 4-hour time frame is such a mess. We can't trade it. It's on the way down. Nothing doing here. It has to change direction, and it has to show me that the market itself knows something about this project that I don't care to learn, and that it knows something about the project is going to be in the charts. The chart is going to show us that everybody is starting to accumulate this thing, and that there's running out of supply and things are changing direction. Then I can start off with a bit of my position, knowing I'll have time. If I'm correct, I'll be able to add on to it when it comes up to these levels. And you know that my average entry will be in the middle here. My stop loss will be above it. So I study this, I practice it, I get ready for it. And then for 18 months, we've been studying and practicing and getting ready for it, and studying and practicing and getting ready for it. And there's been very little time to actually implement it and make some profits this last 18 months as the alts have been going down and down and down. This was the only time through this whole period here that there was any little bit of run. Here again, March, April, May 2018, a little blip here, but all of these coins should be filtered out. Now, I wanted to end with some empirical data that shows exactly that the altcoin season is about to be interrupted by Bitcoin dominance rising higher. And of course, I am completely speculating, which means that I'm anticipating, and I want to be prepared for the possibility of, but I never know what actually will happen. So what I'm preparing for now is the possibility that Bitcoin dominance is going to go higher from here, and that the alts are going to be pulling back. So should this be going up above these levels, we've got one game plan. Should it be coming down below these levels, then our fun game plan gets to light up. That's going to be where the good times are. So Dean H, how do the alts look? Yeah, it's putting altcoins back a little bit. And Dean, be sure to send me a note on Discord so I can be sure to set you up with access to the course and the alerts package that you signed up for. And Jay Constant says, this is just a relief rally in Bitcoin. I'm kind of inclined to agree with that. I think that there is a longer bullish or bearish term look for Bitcoin. Simply because we've fallen below these levels. And look what's happened to these exponential moving averages and the moving average falling down here like this. When's the last time we had this 200 period moving average on the daily view? So we just crossed below it. And the last time we had stuff like this happening on the daily view, where the exponential moving averages were coming to cross under the 200 period moving average. When prices crossed under, there was a bit of a rally, but as soon as these exponential moving averages crossed under it, we are in for some serious down time. And there's only one time that this happened in the past. Right in here, as this crossed over, prices crossed below it, they bounced, they crossed below it, they didn't come back up for a long time. This is a really important cross, especially as the exponential moving averages come down to cross over that. That's a big loss of momentum there. And I think we are in that big loss of momentum. We didn't have that set up anywhere in through here where the prices came near that 200 period moving average. Nowhere. Touched it. As soon as they came below it, it took a long time for them to pull up out of that. So I do think we are in for lower, and I'll just recap on that. The logarithmic chart, pull it back, put in the straight trend line, and then scribble in the estimation. Who knows what time frame, but that's what I'm expecting, is that we will lay along that trend line just like this. And it could be a long time in that trend line. It would be wonderful, because as soon as it's doing this, we have nitro spot after nitro spot after nitro spot as it's setting up here. We had a great nitro spot there. We would have nitro spot after nitro spot after nitro spot as this came back to these levels. So let's watch out for that. Then we have our long upward trend. Not so good. Downward trend that is not finished yet. It can bounce. We've got some more shit coming. Zoom in, get rid of the log, and I didn't get to finish this up. The October Patron Bull Market Watch spreadsheet is just for the patrons now who have paid for the October month. And that will open up again. We'll have another 7 or 8 spots open at the end of October. And if you want to get in earlier, send me a note. You can pay in crypto and I can give you access. But for Patron, their sign up method only works on a monthly basis. So there's no more signups through the Patron subscriber base. But we are going to go ahead with our spreadsheet update so that all of the people who are Patron sponsors now will start in a little bit. When I get it set up, we'll start getting daily summaries of what's happening in this spreadsheet. It may seem like a crazy mess here, but the most important thing is to see the top formation in this chart here. Top formation in the yellow and green, and they are easing back a little bit. So I think that all of these are going to pull back, and the green and yellow is going to ease back on our chart. And if we're looking back at this chart to see the green and yellow pulling back and easing off, it's swelled up and then it's easing off. The neutral pulled back and they're swelling up now. So more of the coins are going back into a neutral stance. What we want to watch for now is, do we have the orange and the red start to pick up? Because if the orange and the red start to pick up, we see a bunch of splashes of blue in here, that is indication that that the alts are pulling back. The orange and the red and the blue in this are the bearish indicators that we want to watch. And as Patron sponsors, we know which ones are green, which ones are yellow, which ones have turned blue, and which ones are red and orange to avoid. The big bonus of this spreadsheet. I think it's phenomenal data. I'm so glad to have you guys jumping in and joining in along with me on this spreadsheet. But it is showing that the alts are sputtering and not accelerating. So tether printing usually means Bitcoin is going up in price. We will have to see. And our indicators, of course, I believe that not only will the 1, 2, 3 formation give us a little bit of insight, but our indicators should give us that under the hood look. We should be able to see that as the RSI is breaking above these levels, we are getting one of those strength surges. If RSI is breaking above this level, we are getting one of those strength surges. So as it's building up here and doing something on this 12-hour time frame, we'll watch really closely to see what it's doing. And then we'll watch really closely to see what Bitcoin is doing in the MACD indicator. Because the 4-hour has crossed positive. The 12-hour hasn't yet. We need that juice. I don't buy that it's going up yet. We'll have to have a lot of these things cross and go positive and be all sorts of big setups that are, the other side of the Bart Simpson, basically. And then my tune will change and we'll measure it out as it's going. And if it does do a breakout like that and a big significant one, I'll just jump on a live stream and catch it as it's happening so that I can record it and come back and look at it later. So for now, that about wraps it up. I'll wait for this chart to slowly load its way back up. And we'll tune in tomorrow to see if these are pulling down from here or pulling up from here. There's not a lot of great moves setting up here. It's not that we're standing on the edge of a whole bunch of alerts waiting for these to be turning into hold patterns. Not for these coins that we're watching here. And we're just watching these because they are margin traded on BitMEX. And I want to be watching for when to go long and when to go short. I'm not going to go short until after we've had an uptrend that we have a top formation. I'm not going to go short from not from something like this. And even if this is going to go lower than where it is now, I'm not going short out of a formation like this. I want to wait for the end of an uptrend for a short formation. So anything like that can do it. Anything like this can do it. But for now, I'm just shopping around for a bottom formation. I'll stay tuned in for that. Okay, so Bitcoin's doing a little dance right now. If we zoom into the 1-minute view, it's just went boom, boom right now. And I like to go into these charts on the 1-minute view just as Bitcoin is doing some moves like that and to see what are they doing. Are they reacting at exactly the same moment? Because look at this. Bitcoin Cash is not happy with that. Immediately, the very second that Bitcoin's taken off, this is the bots are selling. Here again, EOS is taking this hard. He's pouting. Here we got some crying going on in Ethereum. And Ethereum, of course, what's at that top formation that we've been watching. I got to zoom out to a different time frame to get the data. But here, it's pouting as Bitcoin is taking off, just as we are out of this top formation that we've been watching. So there is great data to watch as it's unfolding. So we zoom right back into the 1 minute view again, and it really took it hard. Litecoin also was getting some good stuff going on and really throwing a bit of a temper tantrum there. TRX, how are you doing? A little bit more stable emotion. Ripple also took a bit of a hissy fit here, and the very second that Bitcoin is doing this. So there are interconnected forces in these markets that the bots have all tied together. And for me, there was a time when Bitcoin would be going up in price and altcoins would be going down against Bitcoin, but holding stable in US dollar price. And I'm saying to myself, is it that the altcoins are pegged to the US dollar? And how could that be that they are pegged to the US dollar rather than being pegged somehow to the price of Bitcoin? And it came to me over time that it is the proliferation of all of these stablecoins that makes the automated traders, all of the bots and everything, keeps everything exactly connected. And they're all connected through arbitrage bots. So if there's any spread difference between these in the exchanges, it's immediately, that spread difference is soaked up. So if you get a panicking bunch of traders on one exchange that oversell something, the bots soak it all up, all that move. ZRX is pumping. ZRX. Yes, it made a nice little move up here over the day. And yet, I wouldn't want to jump on it at this moment because it's making a top formation with exhaustion wicks while the RSI is diverging from it. Diverging RSI. So it feels to me like it's made a run up, but Bitcoin's about to put some rain on the party. And I don't know, I could be wrong. Because look at the big divergence going on here, and then it was more of a spring. This could be a spring where it's going to be spring loaded right off of that. And should this start to tick its way up as we're moving, I would say that it is being spring loaded and taking off. Let's zoom back a bit. Oh yeah, it's really moving up from this movement here, higher and higher. So if we're seeing other coins follow along with this, that'll throw out my theory that Bitcoin dominance is about to nasty up the alts. Because this is a nice 1, 2, 3 bottom formation breakout. The exponential moving average is crossed over. Now it's breaking out of a larger bowl-shaped formation. It wouldn't be too surprising at all to see it do a cup with handle out of this. So if it does break up higher, it wouldn't be surprising to see it come back and retest these levels and then start the big move up again. Just to do that classic cup with handle. And it's just technical levels. People FOMOing, buying in here, then they sell out here, and it steadies things out. So yes, nice. I'm glad you brought that up. That's looking great. Beautiful setup there. And if we have more of our alts doing that and Bitcoin dominance starts to ease off from these spots, then party's on. If we can watch Bitcoin dominance easing back here as those alts are taking off like that, the party's on all over the place. That would be awesome. Very good. Awesome. There's a 1 hour stream. I'm going to give another attempt at getting this blankety blank chat stream to work. And I will investigate more tech support help to see what is not working and why. Does it work intermittently? quite distracting. So that about wraps it up here for today. I appreciate you guys being here. There's a lot of great crypto streams out there. Mine is very focused on a specific trading plan. And if you haven't already, be sure to come and join us on Discord. And that'll wrap it up for today. I will let you guys go, and good luck in all of your crypto trading. Good luck in your Bitcoin trading. It looks like it's about to take off again right now as we are talking. Let's go and find Bitcoin 1 day, 1 minute view. And we could watch this all day. If you're one of those people who watches this all day, be sure to come and join us on crypto, because we're there, or on Discord rather, because we're there doing it all day too. Cheers. All the best. Bye for now.